afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. These late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart.
.40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. .40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. These late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Xfinity Super Speedway Series here on Green, White, Checkered TV. We've got 100 laps in store for you here at Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta, Georgia. Lots of calamity in store probably for tonight at this short 1.5 mile oval. Looking forward to the 28 degrees of banking here in what is a short track, but still a super speedway style race, as drivers are currently in the qualifying session, getting ready to set their position on the grid for tonight's race. Again, 100 laps is the scheduled distance for tonight. You'll hear the voices of myself, Boomer Logan, and my partner Brandon Briggs up here in the booth for tonight. Brandon, we're back again after a nice, wonderful event at Friday night. Back here on Sundays with the Xfinity Super Speedway Series. And here at Atlanta, what are you looking forward to the most tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to jump back into what we've seen a lot on Friday, and that's when that third lane had to come into play, and guys wanted to make that move to get to the outside to try to move forward in the pack. Some accidents came from that. Right as you come through the tri-oval or dog leg, whatever you want to call it, down the front stretch, the track really narrows out and cuts in. So something to keep our eye on, and how these drivers are going to manage that and entering pit road.
Definitely going to be interesting for sure. Definitely a unique situation for pit road entry, as you mentioned too, coming in on the exit, or the entry of turn 4 instead of the exit of 4 as usual. So we'll have to be keeping an eye on that and see how those drivers manage that throughout the night. We're about 2 more minutes left in the qualifying session here. And story for Sunday nights has been Cody Nagels and Gabe Butler. Cody going back-to-back in the first 2 races of the season. Then 2 weeks ago, Gabe Butler gets his first win here on Sunday nights. And Gabe also successful on the Friday night series, or in the Friday night series, in that truck race that we had here 2 nights ago, also here at Echo Park Speedway. Gabe collecting another checkered flag for himself here in Area 51 history, and definitely quite a few for Gabe Butler in that number 88, and always have to count on him as being one of the favorites. And Cody Nagels is still new to the league, but obviously having some great success here early on. And it's shaping up to be a really great battle between the two of them. So we've got, for the Super Speedway Series, Cody Nagels has 67, looks like 67 starts and 7 wins, which is a pretty solid percentage there. And if you look on the Area 51 side for Gabe Butler, 266 starts in the Super Speedway Series and 67 wins for Gabe Butler. So quite a lot of stats history for both of those drivers there. And they are definitely going to be looking to try and add to those win totals here again tonight.
Yeah, Boom. One thing to mark is that we have went extra distance every single race. As a track like this, as we go 100 laps compared to some ways the 75, it may alter some of these guys' pitting strategy. And or do you prep for that extra 2 or 3 laps with that green-white checkered at the end, or do you think we're gonna go the full 100 laps here and not have any extra? So something these drivers are also going to have to deal with on top of everything else going on.
Absolutely, yeah. We've highlighted it before. The very first race we ever had here at what was obviously Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now the sponsorship has changed over to Echo Park Speedway. But here at this racetrack, the first ever race in Area 51 history here, we went green flag all the way through without a single yellow on what was an incredible tire conservation race. Now, obviously, the iRacing model has changed quite a bit since those days, and we've seen a lot different. Last 2 nights ago on Friday night, we saw 6 yellows and probably 3 or 4 other incidents that did not see a car spin all the way around, or at least 90 degrees to the track to throw the automated cautions that iRacing provides with the service. And so we didn't see those yellows, but I mean, it could have been up to 10 incidents that we saw last night. So definitely going to be an eventful race that we're expecting here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway as we get into that starting grid for you there. There they are, the two we just talked about, Cody Nagels and Gabe Butler. They're going to line up side by side, just 13 thousandths of a second behind is Gabe Butler. He'll be on the outside of Cody Nagels to start tonight's race. Bud Steele with a solid qualifying effort for Roswell Motorsports, and his teammate Jack Walls to his outside on row number 2. Maxwell Caldwell's got a pair of top 3 finishes in the last 2 races here on Sunday nights. He'll be inside of Ryan Decker, making his return back to the series. Looking forward to having Ryan back again, and always good to see that 48 car out on the speedway. Justin Davis is going to start alongside his cousin Hayden Davis. Justin the sophomore and Hayden the rookie this year. Looking forward to a solid starting spot there on row number 4. Dean Wilkinson in the number 55 for TW Motorsports. He's going to be inside of row number 5. And the 101 of Joshua Highbaugh will round out the top 10 of your starting grid. Bob Fitzgerald, the 08, Dude Conrad, the 8, will start side by side. They'll be on row number 6. Got a few more for you here as Dale Rapp in the 52 is going to roll off just to the inside of Doug Webb. In the 714, Eric Laurie and Gary Huffines share row number 8. Mike Allen and Frank Ranger Jr., they're going to be on your 9th starting row with Anthony Lane and Everett Lane side by side in the top 20. Robert Amaral is going to be there, your last qualifier on time. Looks like a little bit of a slow lap for him, over 2 seconds off pace, so probably a bobble or a slight spin, and but still registers a qualifying time, so he'll be 21st. Jim Brooks, the first to not take a qualifying time, and then Thomas Holder starting shotgun on the field in 23rd for tonight. Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one to see. I think we're probably going to see some, we're kind of set the tone probably early on here, Brandon, see where these guys take off. If they're going to start dicing it up early, or if you think they're going to be a little more quiet and reserved on the get-go.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys that got to run in the Friday race learned a lot, and I think they've learned that especially the 16 had a little bit of mistake, had to go back to the back, and ended up getting caught up in a mess and never got to recover. So I think these guys learned a lot. Stay out front as much as you can, and I think that's going to bring a little bit more aggression.
Well, we will see how it starts out for tonight. Again, it'll be 100 laps. That scheduled distance for you as that pace car is going to dive onto pit road. Cody Nagels, the control car. And green flag is out on the speedway. Here we go, 100 laps at Echo Park Speedway.
Pretty good start there for the 16, but that outside line, you're going to see the 16, he's going to jump up there immediately. We brought it up earlier. You talked about Justin Davis and Hayden Davis. Justin not having the race he wanted on Friday, but having no sophomore slump here on Sunday nights. He's sitting right now third in the points. Good run there for the 10. It's going to be interesting to see how aggressive he's going to be without where he's sitting already in points this early as we see some good two-wide racing.
Yeah, further on back, they're starting to settle in here, trying to figure out who wants to be where. The 10 stays in the inside lane, the 55 jumps down, and we've just got a caution on the speedway. Curious to see. So we got that further on back. Bob Fitzgerald is slow. Don't know if he was involved or not, but we're going to try and take you back to the point of caution and see what happened here. But this was definitely further on back in the field. And you can see at this point, as the smoke is just ahead of us here. So we're looking at, okay, Bob Fitzgerald and Dale Rapp looks like they were involved. We'll jump it back again to that point, focusing on Bob here, and you just see in the middle of the corner there, yeah, just a little bit of a bump from the 52, and that gets the back end of the 08 loose enough that he's going to go around. Big smoke show. Does anybody else get involved in this? Eric Laurie has the big checkup and just kisses the back bumper of the 08 and the 77 and the 81. Actually some decent contact between the 81 and the 08 there. And yeah, just a little bit of a push maybe gone bad in the middle of the corner there and for an early wreck.
Yeah, Boom. Can we maybe swing that back to the backstretch? I noticed as the 52 was going up, he already had some bumper damage on the back here. You can see the 071 got it. The 52, I think, is going to get a pretty good shot here entering turn 3. The 071 looked like it had one heck of a run there by Eric Laurie.
Yeah, we'll rewind it here. See if we can get it back. There we go. A little faster for you. Then we'll go.
Yeah,
Quarter
I
speed.
think as they come into come into turn 3, I think the 52 is going to get a shot here. I don't know if it was anything intentional, but a big run here by the 071.
Oh, a little bit of shuffle for the 55 there too.
Oh, here we come, the checkup. Yeah, big checkup here.
Yeah, checkup on the inside. And okay, that is what propelled the 52 ahead into the 08. So definitely a bit of a checkup on the bottom lane and the 071 getting in the back of the 52. Good call there, Brandon, to rewind that a little more because that is exactly how that started there. So, yeah, definitely not Dale Rapp's intention there to take out the 08, but obviously the 071 comes with a head of steam there. And man, look at the slide and the save from the 24 of Everett Lane. So we'll jump back live here. I don't think anybody has really pitted. We've had a couple cars maybe come down pit road. From 14th on back, but pretty much everybody else is hanging out here just, early on. Obviously very early on, so not too many reasons to have to come down pit road, but we'll take lights are off on the pace car, but we should have a moment to take a quick commercial break and be right back. Coming back around to the green flag, the 16 will still be the control car. There's a new car on the outside lane, though, and that's Bud Steele. So the 88 is going to line up behind the 16, and then the 94 is going to be to the outside. So the 16 and the 94 working together tonight for 1320 Enterprises. We'll see if they have a chance to get lined up nose to tail. I know the 88 is working there with Team Bootnaka. Doesn't have too many friends around him there. He's got a couple of Roswell Motorsports guys, the 6, the 83, and the 48 there, kind of spread out around him. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but we should be going back green here. Cody Nagel's once again the control car, and he will be on the gas for another great breakaway on the first restart of the night.
Yeah, good restart there by the 94. I thought he was going to maybe try to take the outside there of the 6 of Bud Steele. The 94 having a really good season. He brought up a couple of weeks ago in a conversation he wants to get out front and beat that 88. So maybe the 94 working with the 16 can get that accomplished tonight, as we've seen the 16 of Cody Nagels bounce around from team to team and help certain guys. And tonight the 94 is in that circle, as we can see the 88 make a big move to take the lead coming out of turn 4.
Gabe Butler moves to the bottom. He's got the help of Bud Steele. Gonna grab a lap lead for that 88. And the 16, though, is now connected with the 94, his teammate. And those 3 Waswell Motorsports drivers that we mentioned, the 6, the 83, and the 48, now find themselves nose to tail behind Gabe Butler in that inside lane. So a couple teammates there working out early on in the inside lane and the outside lane.
Boom. I want to jump to it early in the race. I was looking while we were practicing. These guys brought some great looking paint schemes to the track. The 48 even switched it up. We haven't seen him much this season. He popped in on Friday. He's popped in here on Sunday. He's brought a nice looking good racetrack, as we see Everett Lane making an unscheduled pit stop there, leaving pit road. But these guys brought some really, really good looking race cars tonight.
Yeah, 35 seconds in the pit box, so potentially most likely a penalty having to serve under green there for Everett Lane, so he's going to come out. He'll be 2 laps down by the time the field catches back up to him again. But the 88 of Gabe Butler continuing to lead the inside lane as the 16 is trying to make a charge on the outside. Not quite enough to lead that last lap there, but the 94 and the 16 are absolutely moving forward there. And they've got the 10 of Justin Davis with them as well.
Yeah, we see the 6 running up here. The 6, we talked about it with him on Friday. He spoke how this year, he hadn't had the runs he wanted. He wanted to see how these new drivers were, and they really shocked him of how good they were running and how difficult they made it. Bud Steele said, I'm going to switch my game plan. I'm going to go to a little bit of aggressive mode. We can see it paying off early as he runs second on that inside lane in the 6 car.
Yeah, solid night so far for Bud Steele, starting up there in the top 5 and pretty much staying there so far. Again, has 2 teammates behind him, which always makes it easier early on in these stages. And we are having a pretty good battle here as the 16 is now side by side with the 6. So the inside lane's prevailing a little more than I think we were expecting to see, but now you see on the front straightaway a little bit of a surge for the 16 and the 94. Always the inside lane will be more advantageous on the bottom and then in the corners, and then obviously the outside lane gets that big run down the front stretch and the back straightaway and a little bit of side draft. You see these guys as a big push from the 94 to the back of the 16 gets a little sideways, and we head off 2 by 2 about 7 rows deep.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing tonight is we see them, they're hugging down the front stretch. We're going to keep it 2 wide. I thought maybe a little bit of 3 wide there, but these guys talked about on Friday, I would assume the track's not much different. They talked about how early in these run, how really slick the track was and how much these tires really came into play later in the race. So I'm so crazy to see these guys pushing it so hard this early in the race, using up a lot of tire as they're making these big pushes.
Yeah, we've seen definitely some changes in the model for these cars. Definitely the trucks, you see them a little more on edge, but in control a little more. And we've heard from the Xfinity guys that these cars are pretty unstable, so you don't see nearly as much of the aggressive pushes, but you do see these cars still getting a little sideways here and there. So it's a lot more to manage, especially on this style of track with the tighter corner radius. Lots of banking in the corners, but obviously a much tighter radius than Daytona or Talladega or iRacing Super Speedway. So it is still a lot more radial load on these cars, or it can be compared to other forms of Super Speedway style racing. But yeah, it's interesting to see how little grip it seems. I know Friday night Gabe Butler had talked about how much of a lack of a grip there really was, even with what was a fairly cool track temperature. And we'll have to check with the guys at the end of the race and see if they kind of felt the same way, where they felt kind of on top of the racetrack and skatey and not a lot of grip there.
Yeah, and I think this is a part to the guys that put these setups together. Every week we've heard something different from the drivers. The car, the truck was was different than it was the week before, or, the different from the last time we came here. So just want to tell the guys that put these setups together and everything behind the scenes of these races, man, we really appreciate it. It really pushes these drivers to that next level, and not let any driver get a little bit of advantage or comfortability, and that's when we see some of the best racing.
Yeah, definitely. And you see that outside lane, the 16 and the 94 working together pretty well, but you also see the 94 having to slide that nose out about halfway just to get a little more cool air on that car. Obviously, we talked about that before too, where some of the previous iRacing updates, you could just push like crazy and it really wouldn't get the car that hot. But I've even experienced in some of the races that I've done, especially on super speedways, if you get tucked up behind that car for more than a lap or so, you are definitely risking overheating by quite a bit, which is fairly unusual compared to before, where you could really be within about a foot of their rear bumper pretty much all the way around and push pretty hard, but as soon as you lock bumpers, obviously you get hot. But you see here the 6 hanging back a little bit from the 88 there, and the 94 trying to do everything he can to kind of offset his car by about a half a car length. You'll see the A, the R, the O, the Camaro, or the C, the A, the M, as he ducks out to one side or the other there on that front nose.
Yeah, and it's, I think, a little bit to do with cooling, but the 16, the 94, them guys on the outside, they've really had that inside lane pushed to the inside, and that really puts a beating on those tires for the six of Bud Steel or any of those. You see how it really starts to wash up just a little bit there, and then the 94 has to adjust. So be pretty cool to see if the 94 and them guys, if maybe when they arc to go into the corner, if they come a little bit higher and then arch down. So just to get a little bit better run, as we see here right there, they come a little bit in a little higher just because they know that little inside lane is going to start to wash up.
Yes, we've only got about 6 cars working in the high line right now, and behind the 10 of Justin Davis, there's a little bit, about a car length gap back to the 8, another car length back to the 13 of Mike Allen as well, and then Eric Laurie back there. But outside lane kind of getting a little sparse. Obviously, we're still quite a few ways from coming down pit road to get more fuel in these Xfinity Series cars, but you can definitely tell that the handling's starting to go away a little bit more as these guys are wiggling side by side, especially as they come off of turns 4 and 2 and in the middle of the corners, washing up just a little bit more than they were at the start.
Yeah, now mentioning, the pit road just right around, pit stops right around the corner, and you see the way it's different. We can see up here, it's a little bit easier to see, cars moving around a little bit more. But boom, when you come down with us being, if we're under green, do you risk taking the 4 tires and having that longer pit stop early, or do you say, I'm gonna risk it and try 2 tires and see what happens?
Under green, it's such a huge difference in track position that I don't really see a lot of people trying to take 4 tires. We've seen where people who did take 4 tires have an opportunity to try and drive back up to the front, but that track position is just so king. I don't really see anybody messing with much more than maybe right side tires. Now, if we go, if you did have 2 consecutive green flag pit stops in a row, I would think maybe on the first one consider 2 or none. But if it does continue to go green further on, I don't think you're going to get away with not taking any tires. So we'll see. I'm sure there's going to be a mixed strategy. I would not be surprised if more guys from the back take 4 tires. Whereas some of the guys up front might try to gamble on 2, or who knows, maybe some guys in the back are going to gamble on 2 and try to get more track positions for themselves. But obviously back, you can see how stretched out this pack is for 21 cars here coming down the back straightaway. There's a 2-second gap between Gabe Butler and Frank Ranger Jr. in 21st. Obviously all on a lead lap here and in this lead pack, but 2 seconds is such a huge amount of time, and we've always said that the magic number for being able to be able to catch the draft of the car in front of you is about a second back. So if you are 15th on back and you don't have the greatest execution on your pit stop, you are very much likely going to be losing the draft. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that track position is going to be more beneficial, but who knows? I could be wrong.
No, I think you nailed it. We've seen with the 55, and all I can think back to was last season when the 55 and those guys, when everybody thought tires was going to be so crucial and everybody took 4 tires, the 55 and a couple other guys took 2 tires. I believe it was the 55 and maybe Rick Sanchez and somebody else. They took those 2 tires and they really, I think, gained about 6 seconds, and nobody could have run them down even with the 4 tires. So. I think the guy to watch when on this first pit stop is the 55. He's kind of been king here.
Yeah, and we've talked about it, how much this track has changed. Oop, there's a little bit of Robert Amaral goes to the apron there. A little bit of a wiggle off of turn 4, but looks like we're going to be okay. But I mean, we've talked about how much this track really has changed with all the iRacing updates. I mean, the track's only been around for a couple years. Obviously, 2022 was when they did the repave, and I think 2023 was probably, or early 24 was probably the first time we ever ran here. But when we ran here early on, you had to take 4 tires, and you could literally watch people be 2 seconds a lap faster on 4 tires than 2 tires, especially late in the run. Now, obviously, that's changed dramatically because that's not nearly the amount of fall off that you have in the tires between taking like 2 tires versus 4 versus none. So there's not nearly as much of that fall off, I don't think, as there used to be, but I think some of that has either changed within the tire model or potentially even the kind of the aero and drafting model of these cars. But I think the biggest thing is I don't think at this point 2 tires versus 4 is going to help you be that much faster out on track. But 4 tires absolutely gives you the ability to put your car exactly where you want it to be and be more aggressive with those moves and know that the car is going to go exactly where you want it to stick. So I think that's kind of become the bigger difference is 4 tires just really gives you no more speed advantage, but handling advantage, hand over fist.
Yeah, and I think that's where having teammates here comes into a really big factor because that means you and your teammates are on the same strategy most of the time, and maybe you don't get ran over with your teammate having 4, and maybe you having 2, so the pushes go wrong. So these guys should be getting ready to come down. I think any second, maybe next 2 or 3 laps, boom. It's gonna get hectic because they have to make that pit road decision right there as they just passed that line right there. Not down to pit road speed, but they do have to be under that white line. So expect some slicing and dicing as some of these guys are going to want to get to the inside lane.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many issues with the pit road commitment there, the entry, and obviously, as you mentioned, you just have to be below the white line, as Maxwell Caldwell washes up just a little bit there off of 2. You have to be below that white line, and as long as you are there, you can enter down the back straightaway and hit below the yellow box to get onto pit road, and then as you're on the apron there, you can go as absolutely fast as you want to go as long as you can still have enough traction to make the corner. But then the typical pit road speed line there at the entrance of pit road is where you actually have to slow down. So you do have to slow down quite a bit just to make the corner on the apron, because obviously there's no banking there, not nearly as much as there is on the racing surface, so you can't go as fast, but definitely don't need to check up nearly as much, and we're going to see these guys that are going to take advantage of that quite a bit, and the ones who can do that the best are absolutely going to be the ones that are going to be pulling ahead and maybe breaking away in the lead group here.
I'm gonna bug you for one more question here. With how they got to get down to the apron and check up and all that. Do you pit the first time by or do you stretch it to the second? I've always been a fan of pitting second.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I always like to pit second. I know some of these Roswell Motorsports guys, their MO has typically been to kind of hang back and save fuel, but obviously the 6, the 83, and the 48 having a really good showing, strong early on in the top 5. But for me, I would really prefer to pit later because you never know. I mean, there was a point in time where we couldn't complete a green flag pit cycle here because a caution would happen. Now, that was before the pit entry changed, and that was almost exclusively because of the pit entry, and obviously iRacing has updated that so that they enter from the backstretch just like they do in the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series and Truck Series, but in the real world. But that's helped a lot. I don't think that's nearly as much of an issue, but I definitely prefer to pit second knowing that something could happen. But you got to go when you have friends too. And if you get stuck out there by yourself, that's not a fun feeling. As we're going to see the 16 and the 94 come down. They'll be the first two takers down pit road, and they're going to get down to speed and see what they can do. The 94 closes up pretty good to his teammate here. Hopefully they can get caught up, and they'll have another car, the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald there. So their yellow line is where the pit road speed starts. So the 16 and the 08 there are going to be just about side by side of the 94 with them as well. So Bob Fitzgerald pitting from, he'll be in 21st now. Cody Nichols, Maxwell Caldwell 19th and 20th. So Bob Fitzgerald is a lap down compared to those guys, but Jack Walls takes over the lead and does not come down pit road, so he's going to stay out for at least another lap.
Yeah, speaking of the 94, peeked over at the YouTube chat. Todd Merkel, driver of the number 2, peeking in here, giving Maxwell Caldwell and the 1320 guys a shout out as we see Gabe Butler, 6 of Bud Steele, 55 of Dean Wilkinson, Eric Laurie, and more coming down pit road this time.
Yeah, about a pack of 6 or 7 cars here, and we'll see if these guys are not going to actually answer the call. So Jack Walls, Ryan Decker, Joshua Highbaugh continue on here. Then we'll see there's another group here. We'll go back to Thomas Holder in the 11. Dale Rapp, Gary Huffines, and Jim Brooks are together. This time by, it's going to be Mike Allen and the 2 Davis cousins, as well as Robert Amaral coming down pit road here. And we'll see Gabe Butler and crew coming off here now. And Jack Walls finally going to be coming down pit road, but he doesn't pit with Ryan Decker, his teammate. He's going to be by himself coming down pit road this time. That's definitely going to be a tougher situation for Jack Walls without any dancing partners as they come back out on the speedway. And as you mentioned, or as we mentioned already, pit strategy, Gabe Butler, Bud Steele, Eric Laurie, Dude Conrad, Doug Webb, all taking 2 tires and fuel. Cody Nagels, Maxwell Caldwell taking 4 and fuel, Dean Wilkinson, Anthony Lane 4 and fuel, and a mixed bag for those who are on pit road right now. Mike Allen looks like he only took 2 as well. So Ryan Decker is going to come down with the lap car of the 24 Everett Lane, who had to serve that pit road penalty there. So leaders Ryan Decker, Joshua Highbaugh, Thomas Holder, Dale Rapp, Gary Huffines are all the last ones to come down pit road here, and that will complete the cycle once they get back out on track.
Yeah, boom, that 24, as they were coming in, he was trying to get to the outside there of Ryan Decker, came really, really close with the line. Something to keep our eye on as we filter through these green flag pit stops, as we see the 88, 6, 08, and 071 leading this front little group here. But with them guys going longer, boom, that does state that they're only going to stop, I assume, 1 more time. So those guys that pitted a little bit earlier, they're going to be right there on the thin line.
Yeah, a couple pitting at 33, Cody Nagels, Maxwell Caldwell, they're going to be hoping to stretch out at least 1 more lap at some point on one stint. And then you're going to see Jack Walls, the teammate there, the 6 is going to help him. Ooh, little bit sideways there between the 6 and the 071 coming through the corner. But the 83 has the help of the 6, and they're going to stay up with this lead pack here. The 48 and the 24 are going to try to hold on to this as well, and they should be able to, as they got a couple teammates here coming in. So Ryan Decker will be battling for position there with his 2 teammates, the 83 and the 6, and the 071 also on the lead lap. You're going to have to go back to Cody Nagels. So this is really the difference that we see here. So he's got a 2-second gap to Gabe Butler ahead of him, and there was about 3 seconds of a difference in pit stops between Cody Nagels and Gabe Butler. So most of this gap is because of the difference between 4 tires and 2 tires. Now, it's not going to matter as much for Cody Nagels and Maxwell Caldwell, as they are going to be able to catch up here pretty easily. Dean Wilkinson as well on the same strategy as these guys. So it worked out for them, even though they were, came off pit road, 3 seconds slower, 4 seconds slower than the rest of the field. They did a really good job pushing to catch back up to the rest of this lead group here, and now they're going to be in a position to have a little bit more tire advantage over anybody else in the field. So we'll go through the field just a little bit here. Obviously, we got Gabe Butler, Jack Walls, Ryan Decker, Bud Steele, now Cody Nagels, Maxwell Caldwell making the move to the high side with Dean Wilkinson and Eric Laurie in this group. That's their top 8 lap car of the 52, I think, as well in here. go back about a second and a half, and you got Dude Conrad and Mike Allen working together. They were faster than the leaders that last time by, so they looks like should be able to start catching up. And maybe catch the back of this draft, but not too sure yet, as they're actually side by side, 13 in front of the 8 now, and wonder if that was potentially an issue with overheating, not sure, but with them battling side by side, that's going to lose all of their momentum, and they're not going to be able to catch up to that pack ahead of them. So Doug Webb is just further on back, and he's got Thomas Holder, Gary Huffines, and Jim Brooks there. About 5 seconds back, we've got another pack, Joshua Highbaugh, the Davis Cousins, and Dale Rapp, and coming back to 81 of Anthony Lane and Frank Ranger Jr. battling for 19th and 20th. And then Bob Fitzgerald is the 08. He's that Air Force car towards the end of the pack in the lead pack. And then I think Everett Lane is up here as well. So he is, I think, 2 laps down at the moment. So he gets a little loose, and the 24 is going to go around almost. Nope. He saves it, continues to save it, slows down, gets out of the apron, and keeps moving forward. That was a heck of a save for the 24 there.
Yeah, boom. I think if we've learned anything in these couple laps, 4 tires is a must. The Cody Nagels in the 94, they got up there no time. And I think the 24, I don't know if he took 4 tires or not. I'm assuming not. These cars are a handful. As you can see, Cody Nagels and these guys, they just drove right on by. And a lot of this hiccup right here is because of the 24. But they did exactly what they wanted to. They could put their car where they wanted, like you said, and I think all these guys next time as they come in is going to take 4 tires.
Yeah, definitely will be interesting to see. It worked out for obviously the 16, the 94, and the 55 because they were able to catch back up, and they were pretty much the only ones in the field that did take 4 tires. The only ones that did are further on back, Justin and Hayden Davis. So they were a little bit slower on their pit time between pit road entry and exit there, a little bit slower by maybe a second or two than some of the other drivers. So I think that was what was really most detrimental for them coming off of pit road. And on top of that, obviously, you're looking at about 11 seconds or so at the high end for 2 tires and fuel. And obviously you're upwards of 14, sometimes 15 seconds for 4 tires. So, there's that 4-second difference that we talked about. And, I mean, like we said, 4 seconds on track is a lot of distance when you're running 30-second laps. So it's definitely quite a bit of a difference there. And obviously, it's over 1/8 of the distance around the track. So I'm not going to do the math for 1.5 miles, but you know that it's a decent amount of gap for that 4 seconds. So it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and especially with pit road, and I think we talk about it every week, is that's where you can execute, and some of these guys being new to the league and maybe new to Atlanta and racing here, you can practice here 1,000 times, but nothing compares to live racing, and especially green flag pit stops when you're in the middle of the pack or even in the back of the pack. One mistake can cost you dearly. So these guys up here giving a good run for their money, as we see the 13 of Mike Allen say, hey, hold on, I want to lead this race.
Yeah, Mike Allen came up here. He is running with this lead pack, and on 2 tires, he's going to make the move to the high side. He's got a couple of Roswell Motorsports drivers behind him, the 83 and the 48, as they make their way forward together. So this is going to be a good battle, shaping up 2 wide here now. And as a reminder, we've got all the way back to now 14th place, and our leaders just about in this pack here, as it actually looks like some of the further back on pack group have caught up here. So we actually have all the way back to 14th here in this lead pack, all the way back to Jim Brooks in that 51 Ford Mustang.
Yeah, and to look ahead of this pack, there is 2 lap cars or 2 slower cars ahead of this pack. We're going to see what we've seen on Friday for the first time tonight, and that's 2 wide racing and getting by those lap cars and where you catch those lap cars and how you decide to try and pass them. Sometimes the lap car can do everything you ask for them, and that's stay up against the wall or close as they can to the wall, and then the wall jumps out and bites. So the 83 and the 48 it's good that they're in the same channel and they can communicate, but they definitely going to have their hands full here in a few laps.
Yeah, it's so tight. I mean, you can see the white lines on the track. I mean, obviously, there's not a ton of room of error for error if you are going to go through it. Obviously, the front stretch is a different story where it widens out quite a bit, but obviously everyone kind of cuts that dog leg a little bit if you're on the inside lane, and ooh, a little bit touch maybe between the 13 and the 83. But yeah, it gets tight, especially as those lap cars come into play with such a difference in speed there with them going a lot slower. They just don't have the same energy that this big pack of cars does. But yeah, doing all right so far as we had that first incident. Now we're halfway through this one, working on lap number 51, 52 as Mike Allen collects bonus point for leading last couple laps. Probably not in the contention for the bonus point for the most laps led, but starting to accrue a few more for himself and a bonus point there in the championship, as the 83 and the 48 are going to try to march towards the front with the help of Everett Lane, the lap car, and see what they can do to click off some laps led for themselves.
Yeah, we got some good racing up here, but I've been watching this battle for 8th and 9th between the 94 and the 88. I don't know if Gabe's really trying to make a run, but the 94 is really locked down that inside lane. These guys have just been hovering, so I don't know if they expect something in front of them brewing, or the 88 just having struggles to get by the 94.
Yeah, we do know, obviously, the 88 does have a tire disadvantage to the 94, but they're just kind of hanging low, and a couple of them are 6 of Bud Steele, Eric Laurie, Doug Webb further on back, just kind of hanging out there in that inside lane, not trying to mix it up just yet, but Mike Allen doing a good job of controlling the lead from the front here, and he's got the 55 of Dean Wilkinson working there as well with him. A couple Roswell Motorsports guys. The 83 finds his way down to the bottom, and that leaves the 48 with a 24 to the outside. And here come those lap cars that we mentioned. We'll see how the field can get through these guys. It's always tough when they get caught in the middle of the corner like that, and looks like so far so good as they come through 3 and 4. A little bit of maybe a little bit of a moment there into the wall for, I think that was Anthony Lane, and then Frank Ranger Jr. Oh, he's gonna hit the wall, and it's gonna take out the 48, and that should be our second caution of the night.
Oh, that looked like Friday all over again. This is what I was talking about earlier. Coming through that dog leg, that wall jumps out, and I'm telling you, boom, it's like it grabs you. It's like a magnet for race cars, and unfortunately, it got Frank Ranger, and then it looks like he's going to get the 48 here.
Yeah, that wall bites the 17, as you mentioned. Big damage for Ryan Decker, unfortunately. Nowhere to go. The 17 hitting the wall there. Bud Steele also gets collected. Does the 071? Not sure. And then Ryan Decker there. Everyone else, for the most part, getting through okay. But yeah, that was a big moment there for the 48 and the 17. Let's try and take it back one more time and see if we can rewind it just a little bit more. See where he makes that contact with the outside wall. And we'll try and zoom in a little bit more. It's so easy for that wall to kind of jump out and grab you if you're trying to stay up to the top side. And we'll see here the 17 for Blind Squirrel Racing. Ranger Creative Concepts, yeah, just gets into the outside wall and unfortunately nowhere to go for the 48. And they make that contact, and he's going to make heavy contact with the outside wall. Doesn't go up and over, but definitely going to be a big incident for that 48, and not what he was hoping to have here. Bud Steele may also be needing to take that early fast repair, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on that as we jump back live. Cody Nagels is going to be the first into the first pit stall here, coming down pit road. Lap number 57, second caution. And we'll see where they sort out. The 83 is going to come off of pit road first, it looks like. 9.5 seconds, indicative of fuel only for the 83. 14 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 and more for Dean Wilkinson, Cody Nagels, Mike Allen, and everybody on back, which means 4 tires and fuel. So the only one to take fuel only in this pit stop will be the 83 of Jack Walls. And then further on back, actually Bob Fitzgerald's coming in now, so everybody behind Jack Walls took 4 tires and fuel, where Jack Walls probably only took fuel on that pit stop. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, but We've got another commercial to run from another great partner of ours, and we're going to hear from that and be right back.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid are the only things I can't change.
Nice long green flag run there in the middle, and then the second caution of the night after an early caution, so about 55 laps between the two incidents here. And Brandon, you think we're getting ready for green to the end, or you think it's ramping up here and maybe a few more cautions on the horizon?
I'm thinking like Jack Wall's thinking. I think we're going to stay green for a while. He didn't take any tires. I think track position means a lot. If the race goes for 40 more laps, you're going to want tires later on. So the 83 is thinking we're going to stay green, and he gets a good start here from the inside lane as him and Cody Nagels and Dean Wilkinson are going to line up single file on the inside lane. And I think if Jack loses maybe 2 or 3 spots on this restart, he still considers it a win and not back there in the chaos if a yellow does come out.
Yeah, Jack's been up here pretty much all night, but obviously gets a little extra track position there with taking fuel only. So everybody else around him is going to be on tires. So we'll see if that becomes a detriment to the 83 or not. And obviously he loses a couple spots there on the restart. Is already back into 5th as they come back around to the stripe. So Cody Nagels adding a few more laps led, and yellow flag back out on the speedway. Frank Ranger Jr. spinning around into turn 1. And we'll jump back to where this all started. Oh, wow. On the front stretch, the 17 and the 81 already making contact with the outside wall. Rewind tool is always helpful. And we'll try to see if we can understand what happens here. So as they come back around 1 lap after the restart, you see the 17 just about through wide. I think he's clear of this 24 as they come through the tri-oval here. And Frank takes a little bit of a wider arc, and then the 81 looks like he's just going to get into the wall there, and that's going to tap the 17, and then obviously they're both going to get into the wall at that point. So the 81 and the 17 probably having to make some damage repairs to both of those cars early on, as that'll bring out the second caution of the night.
Yeah, tough break for the 17. He has not had the last couple of laps that he wanted. Bet he's ready for that long green flag run we was just talking about there with the 83. And I wonder if that's going to bring the 83 to pit road. Nope. Oh, we got some guys saying, nope, not coming. Is that a penalty, Boom? You committed be back there on the backstretch, but you're not technically to the commitment cone? How does that work?
Yeah, I think for caution, it's different. The commitment cone is going to be on the front stretch like old Atlanta would be. During green flag, it's going to be down the back straightaway. So I don't think that's going to be a penalty there for those guys that made the move. But obviously, Cody Nagels and Maxwell Caldwell here are seeing, hey, you know what? There's 38 laps to go to the end. If this is going to be a caution fest, maybe grab some fuel here and try to be good to the end. Mike Allen's going to get off pit road first with fuel only. Dean Wilkinson takes tires. Jim Brooks fuel only. Ryan Decker, 4 tires and fuel, and actually for Maxwell Caldwell, some extensive damage repairs. He sits in the pit box for 25 seconds, so really only about 10 seconds of damage repair at most. Not sure if he did take tires or not, but these are really the only guys that have come down pit road here from, so that's Cody Nagels on back, so 13th on back, everybody else staying out. Dude Conrad there, last pitting on lap 56, obviously very quick back-to-back yellow here for this third caution.
Yeah, boom. Now you asked me about the 83. Now with these guys topping off, I'm going to have right there on the edge of the line. Makes me a little nervous. We'll find out a little bit more when we get back from commercial.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Coming down the back straightaway after the third caution of the night, Dude Conrad is going to be the control car for the first time this evening. Jack Walls will be to his outside. He's going to have Gary Huffines behind him, and his teammate there outside of row number 2, Gabe Butler. Bud Steele still up in the top 5, and everybody all the way back to Hayden Davis in 12th did not make a pit stop on this pit cycle here, and everyone from Mike Allen on back getting service done to their Xfinity Series cars.
Yeah, say what you want. Leave your comments in the comments section. Dude Conrad has the best looking 8 race car of all time, even better than the baseball scheme. I said what I said. That race car looks tremendous. And he's going to bring us back to the green flag here. Is we're going to come to restart on lap 64 here in a few laps. Boom, we're going to start counting down. These guys are back under green. Let's see if the inside lane prevails as it has tonight. But the 83 is going to battle back strong on the outside this time.
Yeah, good start for everybody here up in the top 6 or so, as the 8 does get clear with the push from Silver Fox Racing's Gary Huffines. But the 8 out clear to the lead, and what you mentioned, a very good looking Yorkville Chevrolet. The Delaware Chevrolet of the 83 of Jack Walls leading the outside lane at the moment. A couple Chevrolets lined up behind him, Gabe Butler and Eric Laurie. First Toyota is second in the inside line, and then you go back to the first Ford, which is the 6 of Bud Steele, third in line on the inside.
Yeah, Gary Huffines up there in the 00, running pretty good. There's only been, I believe, one other 00 here to win at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'll let you guys do your research. It was pretty awesome. I was there. But Gary having a heck of a run there on the inside, surrounded by some good drivers. And as we brought up beforehand, if we stay green, Cody Nagels and Maxwell Caldwell are going to be really sitting. Oh, the 83 is going to go around, and so is the 00. It's going to bring out a caution.
And this is exactly what the 16 wanted to see. Not that he wants to see cautions. Obviously, nobody likes to see that. Well, sometimes we do in the broadcast because it's exciting, but that was very helpful for Cody Nagels and Maxwell Caldwell, who came down and grabbed fuel on that last pit stop, because they might have an opportunity to stretch this to the end if these cautions continue to come out. Now you see extensive damage to the 00, and we'll rewind it back and try to see where this happened on the front straightaway. And yeah, you see 83 and the 88 getting together there, and the 00 just tagged from behind. Nowhere for him to go. He's going to make big contact with that outside wall. 83 spins to the inside, and we'll see if anybody else gets collected. The 10, just kind of gets squeezed into the wall there. Not really too much damage, I don't think, there for the 10 of Justin Davis, but I think everybody else got around through there okay. Yeah, everyone else without issue. So, but yeah, I mean, you see that trail of white smoke. That is absolutely going to be a fast repair for the 00 of Gary Huffines, as that is a motor issue. And Jack Walls looks, for the most part, okay in that Delaware University 83. So hopefully he doesn't have to burn a fast repair and can grab a little bit of track position, or sorry, not track position, grab a little bit of a repair and get back out on track. So, yeah, mixed bag for some of our drivers here. Bud Steele, Dude Conrad, Gabe Butler are going to come down pit road, and those who came down on the last yellow are going to stay out. So that's where we mentioned that benefits the 16 of Cody Nagels the most. Then Ryan Decker and Maxwell Caldwell, Bob Fitzgerald. Everybody else in the field coming back down pit road. Everett Lane tries to stay out to get the wave around, and unfortunately, with the 16 staying out, he does not get the wave around. So I'm curious to see. I think Anthony Lane was actually our lucky dog, so he gets waved around the pace car and is going to get back onto the lead lap, and we'll have about the top 4 here. Again, pitting on lap 62. Stretching 38 laps to the end is going to be quite the task. We saw people go 34, 35. With this yellow, I think it would be pretty close that the 16, the 48, and the 94 could maybe go to the distance here, Brandon.
Yeah, I really think they're liking it, but I really, you were thinking they were hoping for a caution. I think they maybe wanted it to stay green. If with that last caution and being able to save fuel the way they can back there in the back of the pack, I would have been really interesting to see if these guys could have stretched it while everybody else would have had to pit. It would have made a pretty good strategy for them too. But I think right now with the last of these couple cautions, I think they're going to be good to go, and it's going to make for some exciting racing.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that they would have been able to stretch 38 laps, but you never know. I mean, obviously crazier things have happened, but we're going to throw it back to another one of our sponsors real quick, and we'll be right back for the restart. Pace car dives down pit road. The 16 is a control car once again, sharing the front row with the 48. Green flag, completing lap 69, working on 70 now, and we are 5 laps away from that counter, starting to count down and not up.
Yeah, good run here by the 48. Hasn't ran much this season, was a regular last couple seasons, and he hopped right back in here like it was nothing. Let me tell you, I've hopped back in these cars after being gone a couple weeks, and it's not as easy as it makes it seem what he's doing. So just shows you the class of the 48 and what type of driver he is. He's going to jump to the inside lane to try to continue to lead this as we come to lap 71.
Yeah, Ryan had a great race on Friday night, was showing some really good speed in the top 10 pretty much all race, and then obviously towards the later stages just didn't have the luck, got involved in an incident in the last lap and really didn't get the finish that I think he probably deserved, but shows, like you mentioned, to be able to hop back in these cars after a little bit of a hiatus is still pretty impressive to see. So good strong showing for Ryan Decker for sure here, working in that second position at the moment just behind Dude Conrad. He's got Cody Nagels behind him. The outside lane is the 88 and the 11. 11 making some moves up to the front of this pack. That's Thomas Holder. He's up 18 spots from his qualifying position, and he's got the 10 of Justin Davis. Just behind him is, Gary Huffines makes contact with the outside wall there off of turn number 2, it looks like. And no harm, no foul. We're going to stay green.
Yeah, these cars are really, really going to start to move around, especially from up there. As we noted, the 16 and those guys, they've been out there the longest, trying to stretch it with only that last stop. But that's what I think really we're going to have to start to focus on, is really how these cars start to handle and who you got behind you. Do they have a teammate? Do they not have a teammate? And are they going to, as you swing up and that grip starts to fade, as we see these cars do, are they going to be generous and let the guy come back down, or are they just going to fill the hole and create chaos, as we see the guys catching a lap car right now?
Yeah, they'll be catching a lap car in just a moment here. See how it goes through turns 1 and 2. That's the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald holding the pretty wheel in that third lane there, as maybe it makes a little contact with the wall. A little more contact with the wall. And we are going to be looking to get him in pretty smoothly here, I'd say. Definitely tough to do. We've mentioned it's hard to go 3 wide, especially with that closing distance between that lap car. But Team Bootnaka has quietly found themselves in the top 3, the 88, the 8, and the 11. Justin Davis up there worked with Team Bootnaka last season, but he is just working with his cousin here tonight. So just the two of them are working in a team chat together, and yeah, definitely helps for Team Bootnaka to be able to control the inside and the outside lane, as the 88 and the 8 are working together there. That shuffles the 48 of Ryan Decker third back in line on the outside. Again, you got the 11, the 10, and the 00 in the outside line, and we are, as we mentioned, counting down 25 laps to go.
Yeah, heck of a run for that 11 of Thomas Holder the last 3 days. He was there, put it on the podium in the truck race on Friday, and now having one heck of a run there on the outside, followed by, we're going to get somebody in the wall. Are they going to be able to hopefully save it? It looks like Mike Allen is going to be okay. He's going to ride it out. Unfortunately, hopefully he can get down and stay with this draft right there behind the 55. But the 11 and the 10, we brought up the 10 earlier, Justin Davis. He's having another heck of a run. Got it up there in third spot with Team Bootnaka, and good run by these guys.
Yeah, good run indeed. The 11 still new to the league. Only got a handful of starts to his name here, but obviously got the first interview there on Friday night for that third place position that he had. Now he's side by side with his teammate on the front row with 24 laps to go, 23 at the stripe. He's got some help in Justin Davis behind him. And we are clicking off these laps pretty quickly here, as we are running about 30.8 second laps, actually 31.3 last time for leader Gabe Butler. So pretty quick, and even for 100 laps here, these races can go very fast, and we've had quite a few green flag runs. Obviously, we got the 2 green flag pit cycles in there, so who knows? Curious to see what's in store for the final 23, now 22 laps this time by, and if this intensity is going to ramp up or not, which I'm sure it probably will.
Yeah, and what I'm really going to start to watch here is that 00, he's running in the outside lane, not up there in position. He is leading the Lucky Dog battle right now. He's battling Everett Lane. Everett Lane not up with that pack. So right where you want to be, up front, not battling for the spot, but at least in a position to get your lap back if anything does happen. And we see Hayden Davis back there in the 19 rocking that retro Coors paint scheme. That's a really cool looking paint scheme there. Boom.
Yeah, as always, we mentioned how many great paint schemes we have here in this league, and you see those beautiful cars as they come through turns 1 and 2 with 21 laps to go. The 11 in the outside there, working in front of 10 of Davis and Huffines, the 88, the 8, and the 48 in the inside lane. 3 cars deep, and yeah, pretty good showing on the outside lane at the moment here. Gabe Butler's going to get another lap led there that time by as he battles with his teammate side by side. 00, maybe a little contact with the outside wall, but no harm, no foul. We keep rolling forward.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on that 16. I'm noticing on that inside lane, it looks like he's going to peek now to that outside lane. It looked like, I don't know if it was by plan or what was going on around him, but it looked like he just kept fading back a little bit, and I didn't kind of made me think of saving a little bit of fuel, but that tells me that's out the window now as he hops. Nope, going to go back to the inside lane now. Just looks like he's trying to make his way forward. So, we're going to have somebody in the outside wall going to be all right there. Look like the 6 of Bud Steele, but 16 just trying to move forward.
Yeah, trying to move forward, but trying to save as much fuel as they can. Obviously, we mentioned they came down on lap 62, so Ryan Decker did as well. So they're just kind of hanging out there, and Maxwell Caldwell makes a bit of a move to the apron there, comes back up. But those guys are going to need to be saving as much as they possibly can. And obviously, the wife of the 48 driver is in the chat again. Appreciate you, as always, jumping in here, Caitlin, to hang out with us. And we would agree the Lucky Dog battle is always an exciting battle to go through. Right now, Gary Huffines really has it locked up as Everett Lane's quite a ways on back. So Gary's trying to do what he can to get ahead of the leaders and see if he can earn that lap back the natural way. But you never know. With 18 laps to go, Calamity can strike at any point, and that would put Gary Huffines right back into the mix to try and win this race.
Yeah, and if you're the 00, try to hold that wheel as steady as you can and hope the guys in front of you do the same thing as boom. We talked about it at the beginning of the race. We haven't seen a race go to that certain lap distance mark. It's always gone over. It's how we got our name. I don't think that yellow flag's put away just yet.
No, but I mean they're racing pretty respectfully right now. Like I don't really see anybody making, super wholesale moves and trying to be too aggressive yet. Obviously, there's still a lot of time for everything to unfold here, but so far everyone's kind of minded their P's and Q's, and most of the incidents that we've seen have really been 2 to 3 car wrecks. They're not, big, field destroyers. So quite a few clean-looking race cars. Obviously, a couple fast repairs have been burned so far, but I think for the most part, the field looks pretty clean. Coming down to 15 laps to go. Thomas Holder is going to get this lap led over teammate Gabe Butler. So bonus points for each of them. Gabe Butler trying to do what he can to maybe grab that point for the most laps led. Probably at this point between him and Cody Nagels. Not entirely sure, but those guys have spent a lot of time up at the front, and makes sense because obviously those are the only 2 guys that have won races here on Sunday night so far in the second season of 2025. And Gabe looking to go back-to-back on Sundays and back-to-back-to-back if you count his win 2 nights ago in the Friday series.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, some comments were made. I think it awakened the 88. I think it was bad news for the entire field. He's been on go mode ever since he's been locked back in. Got that 88 Guinness Camaro running really, really well, and still watching that 10 of Justin Davis. So he last season was new to the league, and the 88 of Gabe Butler, welcomed him over to Bootnaka, and I think he really got to learn a lot there and learn from the drivers in that group, and he's really applied it now. As we're gonna go 3 wide back here, a little bit further back, but. If you're a new driver to the league, don't be afraid to, reach out. It's gonna kiss the wall there, but don't be afraid to reach out to some of these drivers. They're always willing to, lend a hand or knowledge where it needs to be. As chaos is starting to pick up. Boom.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that Area 51 has always kind of prided itself on, is trying to be, a pretty solid community. Obviously, these guys are all racing with different teams and trying to be competitive, but, pretty solid community of people here trying to have some fun, because, at the end of the day, it's all what it's all about. Enjoyable, you want to have this be enjoyable and to hang out with some friends and, what is still a competitive environment, but a lot of fun and a lot of good people here for sure. So definitely, like you said, that intensity starting to ramp up a little bit. About 7 cars in that outside lane, getting a little more organized here as the outside's been prevailing at the start-finish line the last couple laps. Not able to get the 11 clear of the 88, but I'm sure the 11 and the 88 are just okay with that, being teammates running side by side trying to control this one, as will be 10 laps to go next time by.
Yeah, it's going to start to ramp up, and I just want to remind we got some family members in the chat, and I just like to remind them to remind their drivers that the 48 does owe the 88 a little bit of a kiss from last season. I just want to make that notice live as we got 10 to go. Ryan not running a full season, so Gabe's already got that win. I'm just saying, if the time approaches, I'm just saying, just to remind you guys of the history here with the sports. So it's going to be pretty exciting. The 48's got to get by 4 of those boot knocker cars in front of him.
Definitely got to get through a queue of those drivers, but pretty much in a stalemate here. Not really seeing too much movement on the inside or the outside. And everyone's pretty well lined up and pushing pretty hard at this point.
Yeah, right. This outside lane, I think, is in the better shape, though, than the inside. We're really starting to see that inside lane really start to wash a little bit. Oh, we're going to have contact. Somebody's going to go around. Looks like maybe the 19 of Hayden Davis and maybe the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell.
That is it indeed. The 94 and the 19 make contact, bringing out the 5th caution of the night.
That's that hard racing starting to pick up, and looks like we're maybe going to go 3 wide here. Ooh, 2 cars in the same real estate. Boom. We know what causes that. What happens when that happens, and 2 cars go around, and we're going to have a caution.
Yeah, big impact for both of those cars with each other, but also to the inside wall. A lot of damage to the rear clip of both of those cars. And we'll take it back one more time. Try to see if we can see kind of how this unfolds, as they come off of turn number 2 here. Try and grab camera 2 here, rewind it here, and show you guys exactly how this happens. But so you see, yeah, they're just about almost 3 wide. Actually, no, just 2 wide there. The 52 kind of tries to make his move to the bottom, and you see the net code. You saw the gap between the 19 and the 94. That was a lot of net code. So obviously still tight racing, and they may have made a little bit of contact there, but they made contact much earlier because of the net code, and you see them both making that contact with the inside wall there as they come down and spin together. So 19 and the 94 gonna probably have to burn a fast repair here as we jump back live.
I think no harm, no foul by any of those guys. Don't think anybody should be upset with each other. I don't think they could have prevented that anyway. They probably actually, if the net code doesn't happen, I think no contact is made there. So unfortunate break, but I think that was the caution that the 16 didn't want. I think they came into pit as we're going to take another commercial break as we try to finish this out.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
It'll be 5 laps to go as we get the green flag after the 5th caution and 5th restart here. Lights are off on the pace car, and it will be making a trip down pit road momentarily. The 11 will be the control car for this restart. He's got his teammate to the outside, and then got Justin Davis there behind the 11. And they're going to roll through the restart zone. Green flag back out on the speedway.
Very, very good start by both lanes here. Looked like no tire spin. A good start there by the 11 and the 10. Going to have to really stay on it to get past the 8 and the 88. Two very strong race cars out there. And if you want to get out front, you want to control both of those lanes. As we got 3 wide racing farther back at the 55 is going to kiss the wall. Looks like they're going to make it through it back there as the 11 still leads as we go into turn 3 and 4.
Dean Wilkinson was one of the ones who pitted there, as well as the 94 and the 16, as they pit to have a little more security with fuel in those in the fuel tank there. Thomas Holder there needs another lap, 4 laps to go. He's got his 2 teammates in the high line, the 88 and the 8, working together. The 11 has Justin Davis behind him, and then Ryan Decker, who's itching for a win here on Sunday nights. As, oh no, we're going to wreck on further back. It's going to start from the 48, back up into the outside wall, and that's going to be the big one for tonight.
Holy moly, that was racing starting to amp up, and things were getting tighter. That 16 had a heck of a run on that outside. I don't think that had anything to do with it, but that run was coming. Teammates probably communicating, guy on the outside, and when things get this tight, when you haven't been racing 3 wide all night, and when it starts to happen, guys can make mistakes, and that is definitely the big one.
Coming down the back straightaway. Grab a different camera angle in there. You saw it started with Eric Laurie there off the nose of Joshua Highbaugh. Try and get a better camera angle for you, and we're going to rewind it here and get an idea down the back straightaway. So the 101 and the 16? No, the 16 and the 101 trying to go 3 wide here. And then coming down the back straightaway, you see a little bit of movement between the 8 and the 7, or in the 071. And you see there.
Yeah, I think the 071, he just went up there a little bit, and we talked about this earlier. When you go up, is the guy behind you going to let him in? And I think when the 071 came back down, that door was just closed a little bit, and the 101 just caught just a bumper of him, and that started a chain reaction forward and backwards, boom.
Yeah, indeed. We'll rewind it one more time here and try to make sense of exactly what had happened here from the tower angle, and obviously the 071 and the 101. Yeah, 101 is inside there and just trying to go for the same space, and unfortunately the 48 along for the ride, the 52 involved as well. And I think the 6 of Bud Steele, I'm not sure if he got through it or not, but obviously the 13 and the 51 are going to pile in there late. 55, the 19, the 714, the 81 all checking up and getting some damage on the inside. So yeah, that was definitely the biggest incident I think we've had so far tonight, as we jump back live, and most of our race leaders are not going to come down pit road. So Gabe Butler, Thomas Holder, Dude Conrad, Justin Davis, everyone all the way back to at least Gary Huffines are going to stay out here.
Yeah, unfortunate break there also for the 51. Nowhere to go, just gets collected in that. Just been keeping his nose clean all night, and just wrong place, wrong time. And these guys are going to stack him back up and try to draw something out of the bag to try to knock off this 88 here. But the 16 made his way out of that unscathed and finds himself sitting in the 5th spot. So he's got a boatload of boot knocker guys in front of him. I think he's going to have to make his way back to that 3rd lane to try to get by these guys.
Yeah, he does have the teammate Maxwell Caldwell there with him, which does help quite a bit. And they are nose to tail, but you see the 88 was ahead of the 11 at the time of caution. So that's going to put Thomas Holder in the outside lane. And that's going to put the 88 and the 8 working together once again, but now in the inside lane. And then you mentioned, Cody Nagels and Maxwell Caldwell there, 2 teammates nose to tail, but they are stuck behind that Bootknocker brigade. and a couple other stragglers up there as well. Justin Davis having a good show in there, currently running in the 4th position. Bud Steele up there in the top 6. Jack Walls having a good recovery there, coming up back to 8th at the moment. Gary Huffines as well. I believe it was the last caution, actually. We missed it, but he got his lucky dog, got his lap back, and he's up to 8th and trying to see what he can do to move forward here. And Doug Webb is also inside the top 10. So we'll have 19 cars on the lead lap here for the restart. Lights are off on the pace car. It'll be 3 to go. So this will actually be the first, I don't know if it's the first attempt or a natural attempt at a green-white checkered, but here we go. Green-white checkered, 2 laps to go here at Atlanta. Checking up on the inside lane, but rolling good otherwise.
Yeah, that's going to be beneficial there for the 11. Hopefully he can drop down and get in front of that 88. He would have had to been aggressive to do it. Waited too long. The 88 gets back under him. He's really going to need help from that 10 and the 6 as they battle back on the outside. But you can really see the 16 all over the back of the 8 as he's pushing. He wants to get in front of these guys.
16 and the 94 are going to be stuck in the bottom lane until they can find a hole to the top, and they don't have it just yet. The 11 trying to get the push from the 10 to move forward. The 88 is clear to the lead. The 8 is clear on the bottom as well. White flag out on the speedway. We will race back to the line.
Yeah, the 94 is giving the 16 some heck of a push as the 8 has to have his hands full. Trying to keep his teammate there out front, but the 16, he's really going to have to, I think, move him if he wants to get by him, as we can see him really starting to stack up there. That outside lane.
They're going to wreck. The 88 and the 8 continue on. The 16 does as well, and it's going to be a 3-car draft all the way to the finish line, wrecking further on back. And the 88 and the 8 give the good pushes to the teammates and move on to finish 1-2 for Team Bootnaka.
Yeah, some chaos there at the end, but I don't think those guys, I don't think they could have done anything else. Boom. You have to push that 8 as hard as you can. You can't lift. There's nowhere to go on the outside, and sometimes that's what happens when you're pushing as hard as that. But one heck of a race here at Atlanta, and 4 for 4 this season on green-white checkers.
Yeah, definitely a lot of extracurricular activities there. It was chaos there on pit road for the 55 and the 6, but the 88 and the 8, the 2 teammates, are going to come down and celebrate a little on the front straightaway as we bring up the rest of your race results. Unofficial, obviously, as always, but see if we can get them to pull up here. There we go. So Gabe Butler grabbing the race win. That's 2 in a row now for him on Sunday nights. Dude Conrad, the teammate, just behind him there. And Cody Nagels grabs the 3rd spot after Calamity unfolds behind them at the end there. Jack Walls, strong night all night long, gets back up into the top 5 and finishes there as well in that 4th position. Dean Wilkinson, a solid run for him in the top 5. Eric Laurie there caught up in a couple incidents, but he's going to come home in the 6th position. Mike Allen recovers to 7th place. Anthony Lane, also a recovery for him, getting back up to 8th. Joshua Highball, a solid spot in the top 10. And Jim Brooks in the 51 is going to find him in the last spot in the top 10. Doug Webb, another one of the Team Bootnakas, he's going to be 11th there, just in front of Dale Rapp in the 52. And then Ryan Decker there had a really solid showing and obviously involved in that last caution. Kind of marked back in traffic there, and unfortunately not able to move too far forward there at the end. Everett Lane as well gets back on the lead lap and has a decent showing in the top 15. And we saw Justin Davis and Thomas Holder coming to the white flag. They were lined up nose to tail in the outside lane. Justin coming home 15th and Thomas coming home 16th. No harm, no foul. Obviously pushing really hard at the end to try to see what they can do to win that race, and gets a little loose and squirrely, and unfortunately making some contact. Maxwell Caldwell involved in that incident, as well as Bud Steele. Both of them are going to have to finish a lap down, as they were not able to cross the start-finish line the last time, so they'll be, again, scored first cars 1 lap down. we'll bring up the last few results here. Gary Huffines, oh man, after recovering to get back up to the lead lap, he's involved in that final caution as well. Or, well, not a caution, but the final incident there after the white flag, and he is going to finish the last car 1 lap down. Bob Fitzgerald in the 08, 2 laps down for him tonight. Hayden Davis caught up in a few incidents himself, 21st for him. Then we see Robert Amaral and Frank Ranger Jr. to round out the field of 23 for tonight. So the first guy we're going to talk to is going to be someone who we've talked to a few times already this season. Obviously, a couple wins already on the season. Another solid P3 for you tonight there, Cody. Take us through that final restart and how you got to that position.
Yeah, honestly, I just want to apologize to Thomas. I had fresh tires and I was just pushing it, trying to get clear, and just went up too high. I hated that the race had to finish that way. I know Thomas deserved a really good finish out of that, so I apologize to Thomas. I just decided to try something a little bit different with the tire strategy and the pit strategy, just to go off sequence and see if we could just have some fun with the race. And I knew after I did it, it wasn't the right call, but I made it work and kind of got back in a position where I felt like I could contend for a win, but I just didn't have enough laps to find clean air, because I feel like if I could have got clean air, then I felt like I had a good shot at it, but just didn't have enough laps to make it happen.
Yeah, Cody, you took the question right away from me. It was going to ask you about that the second to last caution where you guys came down and pit with about 35 or 38 to go. When you realized that it wasn't the right decision, how do you stay calm to battle through all this and how tight the track is? We've seen you battle in there on the third lane, but how do you stay calm for that 30 laps after making a mistake in your head?
It's really just adapting to the strategy, I guess. I mean, I knew that we were a little bit short on fuel, and I also knew that if we could save during the run itself, then we would be in a position to still contend for the win, but we weren't going to be able to go for, honestly, we were going to have to run all the way till probably inside of 5 to go before we could race, so it kind of took the racing out of my hands. And my rule of thumb is never doing something like that, because I like being able to race and just put myself in a position to go hard, and I kind of took that out of my hands, so I shot myself in the foot for the second race in a row at Atlanta, and I don't really like it too much, but I'll salvage a P3 out of it and move on.
Yeah, definitely still a solid points night for you tonight. Not maybe what the results that you wanted, and definitely kind of playing catch up, trying to do the offset strategy. But towards the end there on that final restart, obviously you lined up with a teammate behind you, but you had multiple Team Bootnaka cars in front of you, and obviously they had a guy, Thomas Holder, in the outside lane as well. Obviously with these being really fast laps, I know you said that you felt like if you could get the clean air that you'd have an opportunity to go for the win, but how tough is it when you're kind of boxed in there behind teammates on the inside and outside lane to get to that clean air and try to make a move to be able to move forward?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I feel like it's impossible to really do something with 3 to go on an intermediate track. If Max and I could have lined up on the top instead of the bottom, then we can basically just rip wall and no lift the entire way, because we've got the tires to do it, and I think we would have had a good shot at it. But kind of with the hand we were dealt on the bottom, it was really just trying to maximize our finish position, which I felt really bad because I took a good finish away from Max because of what I did there, entering 3 with Thomas and hooked him. So I feel really bad about it, and hopefully I can have a better one next week.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm sure, as any racer would, obviously, in an instant like that, always sucks that it happens. But good on you for admitting it early and saying, hey, you know what, that's on me. But a solid finish for you tonight, nonetheless. P3 still a good points night for you, and we'll roll that red carpet out for you for any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting these races at Area 51. Thank Maxwell for allowing me to run with them, and all the admins at Area 51, and shout out to Gabe for the win.
Awesome. Thanks, Cody. We appreciate your time and hope to talk to you again very soon.
Yep, thank you.
Alrighty, up next is going to be the number 8 of Dude Conrad. Has a solid night there in the Yorkville Chevrolet. Definitely, I want to hear from your thoughts. How were you feeling when you lined up there on that final restart right behind your teammate? Were you feeling pretty good that you guys had an opportunity, obviously with Thomas also in the outside lane? Were you guys feeling pretty good to have a couple cars there in the top three?
Oh yeah, we I didn't take tires that last pit stop, so I was a little on the edge. But Thomas and Gabe, I mean, we were satisfied with any order, just the top three. I don't know what happened to Thomas at the end, and I was watching for that 16. I figured he was coming up there any time now. But yeah, it was a pretty good race.
Yeah, you guys had a heck of a run and definitely had some teammates up there. With the tire situation tonight, if you needed to, do you think with you guys, even with your teammates all up there, would you be comfortable in that third lane if it had to be?
No, no. I don't. It's not that the car or the tires couldn't handle it. It was just being around certain people, and it wasn't their fault. They washed way up the track. It was easy to do, and you shut that third line down or they'd wreck it, one of the two.
Yeah, definitely not a lot of room for error here at Atlanta, and obviously we had quite a few cautions, but for the most part, I think you guys were kind of able to kind of control the narrative a little bit for, I mean, really a good portion of the later stages of that race. It's got to be, I'm assuming, it's got to feel good to be ahead of the chaos, even though there's a bunch of stuff happening behind you, but definitely seemed like you guys put yourselves in a good position to be ahead of that and capitalize on that.
Yeah, that's pretty much the game plan on every race. Get all the guys, in the top 10 for sure, and just look for that white flag. Other than that, we had Eric up in the top 5. Thomas has, I mean, not Thomas. Everett had some bad luck there at the beginning of the race, but other than that, we've been pretty strong as a team.
Yeah, not bad at all to finish the way. Obviously, the 11 not getting the finish that he probably would have hoped for, but I mean, still a solid showing for him tonight. And obviously, you and
Yeah.
Gabe 1, 2, and Eric just outside the top 5 there. So it's got to feel good to have, like you said, some team cars up in the top 10.
Yes, sir. It's good seeing Thomas run up front again. He used to be somebody you had to deal with all the time. It's good to see him up front again.
Indeed, yeah. Well, we hope to see him up there again, but obviously you were there finishing in the top 2, so we'll roll that red carpet out for you and give you a chance for any thanks or shoutouts you'd like to give.
Just congratulations to Gabe on another win. Well, the accolades just keep adding up for him. I'm proud of him. Just in the team, putting up with my work schedule. I really don't get to run with him as much as I like to, but it is what it is. We had a little special visit from Kevin there at the end of the race, so shout out to him. And it's, I ain't gonna say nothing. Anyway, thanks for the team. Thanks for you guys broadcasting this. So much fun to watch.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it, dude, and congratulations on the second place, and hope to have you back soon.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys.
Alrighty, it is time for the man of the hour. Gabe Butler in the 88 comes home victorious yet again in that Guinness Chevrolet. Gabe, take us through how you got there tonight.
Teammates, fellas. You know how it is. You got your teammates, they got your back, and we all trying to help each other, and there was no greater proof than that tonight. So, yeah, big shout out to the team there. I mean, got a hell of a push there from Dude on that green white checker, and fortunately, Thomas that was running with us, he kind of got hooked a little bit, took him out of it. So he was really going to have a good finish, if not win it, because he was doing a real good job in that outside lane there at the end of the race.
Yeah, heck of a run for the whole team, and another win for you, Gabe. Bud spoke on it on Friday when we had him up, and he explained with the new drivers and how the talent in the league, not only on Fridays but on Sundays as well, has grown here. How has that changed your guys', not only yours but your team strategy, knowing that this season that there's so many competitive drivers?
Hasn't really changed that much. I mean, just kind of focus on not making any mistakes or as the least amount of mistakes you can. And but again, even though you might have a perfect pit stop or make perfect decisions, you're at the mercy of other drivers. What do you get around the track clean or not? So I mean, it's strategy just stays the same. It's kind of on a race by race basis, to be honest with you, Brandon.
So with this, that puts you at 68 wins in 267 starts. And that win percentage is over 25, about 25.5%. I know, obviously, you're well versed in these interviews because we do get a chance to talk to you a lot, and probably one of the most humble people that we know in the field. But just talk to that stat alone and how I know you're going to call it probably teammates. It's probably the first thing you'll say, but how do you get to such an incredible winning percentage in this style of racing?
Well, I mean, again, what else can you say but your teammates? I mean, honestly, if I was running every single one of those races, all those starts by myself, there's no way that number would even be remotely close to that. So, and a lot of luck too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, super speedways are, it's a lottery, I think, and you just kind of have to try and make your own look, and your teammates help you make that look. And you know, uh, you get your nose out front, and you try and stay out there, and hope for the best.
Yeah, definitely. I know, obviously we talk about it a lot here, and you guys mention it a lot with that teamwork, and it really does make a difference. Obviously, I'm sure towards the later stages of that one, you're probably feeling pretty good with dude sitting behind you on the final race start, and your teammate to your outside on your door. Take us through, I guess, maybe the final restart there. What you're thinking with dude behind you, and obviously the 11 to the outside. At that point, are you feeling pretty comfortable? Or obviously you got the 16 and the 94 are lined up nose to tail behind dude. Are you kind of waiting for them to make a move and see where they're going to go, or just trying to put that foot down and see what you can do?
Well, basically, a couple of things. Yeah, put the foot down and go, and it's always great to have the 8 behind you because you're in real good hands there. And Thomas was on our outside, and Justin was doing a fantastic job pushing him earlier on. So if we all went together, go on green, Cody and Max were going to be trapped on the bottom. Um, and I think that's the way it might have ended, but there was an unfortunate accident there on the last lap. And but yeah, it's real nice to see the 88 and 88 getting 1-2. Hopefully, I can return the favor here real soon.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the 11, not quite the position that he probably deserved to finish, and was doing pretty well up
No,
at the front of the field. Obviously, we talked to Cody already. He did kind of own up to the incident and has already apologized for that, at least in the broadcast. So appreciate him at least mention that. But definitely bummer for the 11. But you still got obviously the two of you guys in the top two, and you got Eric Laurie there in sixth place. So not too bad for a team night. But yeah, we'll give you that red carpet rollout and that opportunity for any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give for that 68th win here at Area 51, Gabe.
yeah. Well, just to mention real quick, Everett had a great comeback. He was 2 or 3 laps down there at one point, and he finished 14. Doug had a good win. I forgot to mention Doug, the last race that he's been racing with us. And like you said, Eric had a good finish there, and then Thomas was like super unlucky, but hell of a job by dude getting P2. But as usual, big shout out to you guys in the booth. You do a fantastic job up there at Green White Checker TV, and all the Area 51 admins. It takes a lot behind the scenes to get these leagues up and running, and those guys are appreciated a lot more than they know, and all the drivers that came out tonight, we're getting some really good fields here on Friday and Sunday nights. So hats off again to the admins for doing a good job recruiting, and all the viewers that were watching tonight. Hope you all enjoyed the race.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it as always. Always giving us the accolades. Definitely, like you mentioned, pretty solid league here for us to get to cover. So, thank you for your part in that, Gabe, and congratulations once again on the win tonight.
right, guys. I appreciate it.
Alrighty, Brandon. Definitely I'd say, pretty solid mix that we got to see tonight. We got to see, obviously, really early incident, which we thought might have set the tone, but then we knocked off a couple green flag pit cycles there before we got into a little more chaos towards the later parts of this one. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely. I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for as far as variety from lap 1 to 100.
Yeah, it was definitely eventful and kept us on the edge of our seat. And I definitely think it kept the drivers on the edge of their seat and gripping the wheel. And I'm excited to get back to next week. We head back to Talladega. A lot more room, a lot more opportunity for these guys to mix it up and have 3-4 wide battles. And I think that's when these guys have been to all the tracks now. They're comfortable with their teammates. They're comfortable with the drivers. I think this next 2 or 3 races is really going to show who's the strongest.
Yeah, I guess you know that mindset probably going to change a little bit from this week to next week with the extra room on track, and obviously one of our more traditional super speedway tracks. But maybe take us through what are you going to be expecting to see differently from tonight versus 1 week from now at Talladega?
I think these guys are just going to be more aggressive. I think we heard it like from the 16 tonight. I'm trying some different strategies, and I think when we go back to Talladega, you go back to what works and you conquer on that. And things like Bud, he said he just wanted to get comfortable around these drivers. How does his approach change? So I think these teams start to get a little bit more aggressive with knowing the drivers around them, and I think it's just going to amp up, and it's just something. Who's going to knock off these two top guys of Gabe and Cody? They've really handled things here on Sunday nights.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously, good mix of some veterans. Also, as we've mentioned, quite a few guys that are returning after a little bit of a hiatus. So good to see more people coming back and racing with us here at Area 51. And like you mentioned with Bud, you kind of have to get to learn those drivers and their tendencies a little better, and try to understand what moves they're going to make, and try to learn what kind of their normal is for their racecraft. But yeah, like we said, pretty good mixed bag of green flag cycles, some cautions here and there. Really single car incidents until what was one of the last incidents that took out quite a few. But I'd say overall not a bad race for Atlanta Motor Speedway. Obviously now Echo Park Speedway, but we'll be back next week, as we mentioned, at Talladega. So July 20th. We'll be at the 2.66 mile oval there. Daytona will be the following race in 2 weeks after that, which will be August 3rd. We'll take another off week, then we'll come back at Talladega on August 17th. So we'll be back next week on Sunday, and we'll take a week off. We'll be back, take a week off, be back, and we'll repeat that process on Sundays and Fridays as well. So next Friday, obviously, we'll also be at Talladega Super Speedway there on July 18th. So be sure to tune in to both Friday and Sunday Super Speedway series for all the action and fun. And we also still have the Area 51 IndyCar series. So they're going to be at Gateway here in 2 days' time on Tuesday, and then they'll go to Chicagoland the following week on July 22nd. So they're in the early stages of their season there for the Indy cars. So be sure to tune in and pay attention to all the fun that we have on on Tuesdays and on Fridays and Sundays here at Area 51. And for us up here in the booth, myself, Boomer Logan, and my colleague Brandon Briggs, we'll be signing off for Green White Checkered TV. We'll see you in the next one, and hope you all have a great week.